A 9-month gap between ordering a car and seeing it turn up on your drive might be something you'd expect for a limited edition version of an extremely expensive sports car, but some people had to wait 9 months to get hold of this Hyundai SUV.
But with respect, this is no ordinary Hyundai SUV. The Hyundai Kona Electric is the Korean manufacturer's trailblazing fully electric SUV which burst onto the scene in 2018 with a 300-mile range and a reasonable price tag, in early electric car terms at least. So perhaps then it's no wonder that the limited initial supply was very quickly outstripped by the demand.
But there's no such problem now. Part with your cash for one of these and the longest you'll have to wait in the UK is 2 weeks if you have to wait at all.
So, is this the moment? Instead of buying a fuel-powered SUV with a posh badge, should you instead take that budget, embrace the electric revolution and go for this 300-mile ready Kona Electric? We're going to tell you in this review, but first, do make sure you're subscribed to our channel so you can watch all of our new car reviews. And if you do want to go and buy any new car, go to our website, whatcar.com, to get a great saving.
The Kona Electric has just had a facelift, and the biggest change is down here at the front, where in the previous Kona you had this kind of awkward looking plasticky grille, but now you can see it's got a much sleeker front end.
But even after a slight nip and tuck, it's unlikely to turn as many heads as the new Hyundai Ioniq 5, which is the big brother to this smaller SUV. Click the link to see our review of that car.
There's also now a 10.3-inch digital driver display which comes as standard on every Kona Electric, but that's it. In every other respect, this is very similar to before.
The bigger change is more out of the Kona Electric's control. When it first went on sale, the Kona and the closely related Kia e-niro were very much outliers. They were the only real option if you wanted an EV that was cheaper than a Tesla, but still had a massive range.
But that is different now. In this price range between £30,000 to £40,000, you've got a big number of rivals and many more to come. So now we're looking at cars like the Peugeot e-2008, the Citroën EC4, the VW ID3, and also there's the MG ZS EV, which is actually a lot cheaper than all of those rivals. Plus, there's more and more being released all the time, it seems. So with this new competition, how does the Kona Electric compare? Does this change our opinion of the car? Well, the truth is that the interior has never really blown us away. So it's always had quite a plasticky look and feel to it. So the robustness isn't in doubt. It does all feel pretty well put together, but it's the materials here and there that just feel a little bit cheaper than you get in some other rivals, particularly whatever this steering wheel is wrapped in, just doesn't feel very nice. So even the closely related e-niro does feel like a step up compared to the Kona Electric, and so too does the Peugeot e-2008, which has got a really nice interior. But to be fair, the Kona Electric is quite similar to what you get from the VW ID3. But while it might not be towards the top of the class in terms of quality, the infotainment system that comes with the Kona Electric is very good indeed. It's among the better infotainment systems you get out there. So it's got all the features that you'd want, including Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard, fairly simple layout, and you also have these helpful physical shortcut buttons and a couple of dials to help control it as well. So that is very impressive. And this new digital driver display, really good to have, great that it comes as standard, very easy and simple to see all the information that you need. And you generally have a really good driving position here as well. You're not really high up as you might expect in an SUV necessarily, but it's still all aligned very nicely. Comfortable here as well. Plus it's great that every Kona Electric gets adjustable lumbar support as standard to help save your back on long journeys. Rear seat space isn't a strength of the Kona Electric. It's relatively tight back here. But if you're just under 6 foot, as I am, then you can still sit up straight without your head brushing the roof lining. There's an all right amount of knee room and leg room, and a couple of 6-footers could sit back here relatively comfortably over long distances. But for the money, an ID3 and also an e-niro are more accommodating for rear passengers. Those rivals also have bigger boots than the Kona Electric, because in this car you can only fit 4 carry-on size suitcases into this pretty shallow load bay. But in an e-niro you can fit 5, and in a Nissan Leaf you can fit 7, but even in something like a Renault Zoe that can get 6 into its boot. Plus in the Kona Electric there isn't much in the way of underfloor storage either. So that means that you're stuck with these charging cables in this handbag with some handy Velcro strips on the back to sit in the boot and take up space there. But while it might not be quite so amazing for practicality, there is clearly one area where the Kona Electric still massively excels, and that is the range. Now, the claimed official WLTP electric range from a full charge in the Kona Electric is 300 miles. To go much further than that in an electric car, you'd have to spend quite a bit more money on a Ford Mustang Mach-E or a Tesla.
And even in our independent real range testing, which gives you a genuine real-world figure for the range of an electric car, it managed 259 miles, which is far enough to fit into plenty of people's lives.
But what about the rest of the driving experience? Well, the Kona Electric has never been the most comfortable electric car in its class. So whatever speed you're going at, it does kind of jostle you around a bit inside. It's not enough to become really uncomfortable or annoying, but if you compare it to an e-niro or the ID.3, both those cars feel much more settled and much more cushioned as well. So they do ride better. It's also a bit noisier in here too compared to those cars.
The handling doesn't excite much either. An ID.3's superior body control and better weighted steering makes it more enjoyable to drive. An e-niro is slightly better too.
But the Kona isn't terrible. At low speeds around town, it's a typical electric car, really smooth, really quiet, very easy to steer into a parking space. All those basic stuff's covered. Plus, it's actually pretty quick as well. So 0 to 60 miles per hour is covered in about 7 seconds, which is as quick as you'd get from an ID.3 and an e-niro, but admittedly a Tesla Model 3 would leave it in the dust. But you do still need to be quite gentle on the accelerator with the Kona Electric, because with 201 brake horsepower, the traction control turned off, sport mode engaged, and a bit of steering lock applied, it is quite easy to overwhelm the front tyres. That is with the 64 kilowatt hour version of the Kona Electric, which we're driving here, but you can also get a 39 kilowatt hour version of this car. Now, with that smaller battery, you also have a less powerful electric motor, so there's less burnout potential, but it also reduces the range. So on that version of the Kona, the claimed range is 180 miles, and in real world driving conditions, you can expect between 150, 160 miles. Now, it's cheaper, but when you take away the massive range that this car offers, you lose a significant chunk of its appeal.
On the subject of price, the 39 kilowatt hour version looks really quite competitive next to its rivals, but because the range isn't particularly great, we definitely still recommend jumping up to the 64 kilowatt hour version.
And if you're wondering which trim to go for, there's 3 to choose from. But even though entry-level SC Connect is really well equipped, it only comes with the smaller 39 kilowatt hour battery. So instead, we'd go for the middle trim, which is premium, and then you can get the bigger battery, and you also get LED headlights and automatic wipers too.
It's only range-topping Ultimate trim, by the way, which doesn't get £2,500 off from the plug-in grant in the UK.
Oh, and every Kona Electric is covered by Hyundai's fantastic 5-year unlimited mileage warranty, while the battery is covered by a separate 8-year or 125,000 mile warranty.
As for charging, well, the maximum charging speed in the Kona is around 77 kilowatts. So from a 50 kilowatt fast charger, the kind you'd find at a motorway service station, you can get a 10 to 80% charge in 64 minutes in this big battery version, or 47 minutes with the smaller battery. That's the same as most of this car's rivals. However, an ID.3 can charge it up to 125 kilowatts. So from a 100 kilowatt charger, it will do the same charge in half the time as the Kona. Now, that sounds very convenient, and it is, but the problem is that right now there's not many chargers around that can charge at that speed. So the Kona Electric's relatively low maximum charging speed is only likely to be something that may annoy you in the future.
So the facelift hasn't made any dramatic changes to the Kona Electric, but it is still a very, very good car. It might not be the biggest in its class, and there might be some other EVs with a slightly better ride and handling balance, but because of that enormous range, if you're looking to go electric, then this should definitely be considered. For even more information on this car, go to whatcar.com, and on our website, not only can you read all of our reviews on every new and used car, but you can also save thousands of pounds off the next car that you want to buy through our trusted dealer network. Thank you very much for watching this review. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a like, and do make sure you're subscribed to our channel so you can watch all of our new car reviews as they go live.